Go. Yo, what's happening, people? It's your boy Michael Griggs, and welcome back to Griggs Talks, where we talk all things sports. And we're here for another match reaction. Doing this one live because, you know what? It was a good performance. We saw a win, which I haven't seen in about a couple of weeks now, which is always good. And yeah, that was our best performance of the season. So I figured, let me do it live. Let me not do a pre-record. Might get joined by a couple of guests soon enough as well. And yeah, let's talk about it. Man United 2, Chelsea 1. But before we talk about all that, make sure to like, share, subscribe, you know the drill, all that kind of stuff. And yeah, Man United 2, Chelsea 1. A game that I didn't really think it would go that way. I thought we would struggle a lot more, but that was by far our best performance of the season. Not even close. Attacking-wise, beautiful. I think we created about 4.5 XG. Big up Kevin Jimenez in the comments. I knew Kevin Jimenez would be the first one there. I'm almost a little supportive right now. Yeah, just a good performance. XG-wise, we created a lot. Defensively, we're pretty strong. Obviously, there's still some issues that we'll talk about, but the players worked hard. That was the most important thing. We needed to see a response after Saturday's performance in Newcastle. All the media talk, journalists were getting banned yesterday, aka Samuel Luckhurst. He could actually hold that. I'm not gonna lie. As an aspiring journalist myself, it's disgusting to see the way that he writes about Man United. So all the pressure was on Ten Hag, because if the club are gonna do a statement like that, ban journalists from press conferences, the only way to kind of prove that might have been the right decision is to perform well and kind of make them shut up. And that's exactly what we did today. Lineup was a little shaky, I'm not going to lie. I didn't expect Manu to get dropped. I thought Manu was going to start. I did expect Mctominay to start, I'm not going to lie. But Manu getting dropped was a questionable decision. But based on Amrabat's performance, it was worth it in the sense of like that. Rashford got dropped, which I kind of expected after Saturday, because he's been put in the firing line a lot, especially over the last couple of days. So I expected Ten Hag to kind of take him away from that. Garnacho's been really solid. Anthony has been really solid his last couple performances, so it made sense to kind of start him. Hoyland back at the 9, obviously. Defense, kind of the usual. Dalot right back, Shaw back to left back, Lindelof and Maguire left center back and right center back. So the basics pretty much. But we started off amazingly. Press from the beginning of the match. Oh, press. Our press has been inconsistent this season. I thought in the beginning of the season, our press was much better than it was maybe the last month or so. But today, that was the best pressing performance I've seen from Man United in a very, very long time. That's probably our best press at home since maybe that Spurs match last year, which, funnily enough, was also on Amazon Prime. Maybe every time we play on Amazon Prime, we actually cooked really well. But we were amazingly in the press. Even Amrabat was actually pressing a lot higher than I actually expected him to, because I tweeted right away, why is Amrabat pressing so high? But within 5 seconds, he actually created a turnover, which is funny. Our fullbacks were back in the press, and if you guys really like tactics, that's probably one of the biggest question marks under Ten Hag's tenure so far. Our fullbacks never back our press, which kind of makes our press always disjointed, which also allows teams to kind of cut through us very openly. But our fullbacks backed the press today. Luke Shaw did really well. Dalot backed up the press well. Reguilon, when he came on, amazingly backed up the press. He was always high up the pitch, helping Garnacho kind of trap Reece James. The Sassy, whoever was back, Caicedo, whoever was back there for Chelsea, they did a really good job. And Chelsea could not play out the back at all. The whole match, they could not play out the back. They had a couple spells, but Robert Sanchez couldn't pass the ball. Thiago Silva couldn't pass the ball. The Sassy couldn't pass the ball. Colwell couldn't pass the ball. Cucurella, when he was on, couldn't pass the ball. Reece James couldn't really play out the back either. Caicedo, Enzo, all of them non-existent in the passing game. When they did beat our press a couple times, they obviously were able to get opportunities. That's probably the one criticism I saw of Ten Hag. He has to address how open the midfield is constantly. That's probably the next step in terms of addressing it. But yeah, that's pretty much it in terms of the press. On the ball, I thought we were really solid. I thought Garnacho did a really good job on the ball. I thought Bruno did an excellent job on the ball today. When I look at his stats, he only misplaced 5 passes. Obviously, the crossing was a lot. He misplaced like 9 crosses, but that's okay. Is what it is. Big up Kevin Ritchie. Appreciate it, man. I just give honest takes, man. That's all I got to do. I thought Garnacho was really good in those aspects. Bruno as well. Obviously, Garnacho was very frustrating in terms of the final third, but that's what you're going to get with the 20-year-old winger, 19-year-old winger. That's probably the next development that's the next stage of his development. He has to improve the final third because his ball striking is very inconsistent, which will lead to frustrating final third because his crossing won't always be perfect. His shots won't always be on target. Sometimes his passing will be a little bit off in terms of like the short pass, long pass, that kind of stuff. But he did well for the cross because he got the assist for that. Obviously, he should probably stop doing the extracurricular shots in terms of the fancy shots, kind of like the flare shots like they call it on FIFA, because he tried another bicycle kick, bro. That goal against Everton, one-time thing. Once in 100 years. You're not doing that again. It's okay. You don't got to go for it every single time. It was a fluke. So probably should stop doing that. But he's making that left wing position to his own right now. That's like about pretty much 3-4 good performances on the bounce. Obviously, Newcastle was a little iffy, but the whole team was poor, so I'm not really going to criticize him for that much for that performance. But against Gala, he was really good. Against Everton, he was solid. And again, today, he was very solid. Anthony, if you guys know me, if you've been supporting me for a long time, you know my thoughts on Anthony. I don't really like him. I thought he was a waste of funds, in my opinion. But I would say this. The idea of Anthony is there. The way he presses is incredible. Out of possession, he might be our best player out of possession. He finds himself in amazing positions. But then when he gets in those positions, the final action is horrible. This guy doesn't open himself up to his right foot. Every single time, he just tries to trivela it with his left foot. My brother, in FIFA 23, you don't got to trivela every single time. Even when we got that penalty, it led from him not being able to get the touch on the ball with his right foot. It went on his left foot, and he tried to like trivela it, like pass it like that. And the pass was horrible, but Enzo stamped on him, which led to the penalty, which helped us in a sense. But he did really well. Nice little cheeky nutmeg that he had. But again, the crossing, very iffy. The shot, his ball striking is horrible. All that kind of stuff. Now the midfield. Before I talk about the midfield, since Kevin Jimenez has a comment about that. We leave the midfield so open, bro. We are our own worst enemy. If you're gonna leave the space and capitalize on our attacks, we're so poor in the final third. Yeah, this is just a very inconsistent team with inconsistent players. In terms of the midfield, like I said, Bruno, I felt did a really good job today. He pressed well, tracked back well. I think there was a moment in the first half where I think Mudryk messed up the pass potentially, where Bruno ran all the way back to kind of help intercept with Maguire. That should never be Bruno tracking all the way back there. That should either be Mctominay or that should be our 6. But I thought Bruno did well. The penalty, I hate that penalty hop, man. Jorginho has stopped doing it because he got taken off bench for doing that. Bruno, we don't get many penalties in a year so far. I think that's our 3rd penalty this season. Bro, just smash it. You don't have to do the little hop like you're a frog. It's enough. But nonetheless, I think for me, that might be Bruno's best performance of the season in terms of not getting the GA. Obviously against Forest, he was very what's it called? He was very effective in the Forest game in terms of getting GA. Him and Rashford linked the ball, but today he didn't get a GA, and he was excellent for me. That was like a 7 out of 10 performance. Could have been an 8, but he missed a pen, so we got a docker point for that. Amrabat for me was our man of the match. I was questioning whether he should come in today. I wanted him to come in with Manu, not just him and Mctominay. So when it was him and Mctominay, I was worried because against Galatasaray, they didn't do that well as a partnership. Even though it's really not a partnership anymore, the midfield partnership is Bruno and Mctominay being the high 10s and just isolated 6. But Amrabat today for me looked confident in his passing. He looked confident in his actions. He didn't take too long on the ball, and when he did, he was able to protect it really well and kind of create attacks with it. He stopped counterattacks every single time that he could have. Obviously, sometimes you can't stop a counterattack as a 6 because you're overwhelmed. You have too many other players around you. But when he did, when that pass was going to the middle, he was able to intercept it very well. So props for him for that. And that was his best performance in a Man United shirt by far. Obviously, the standards aren't that high with it, but it was really good. And I will hope to see him again on Saturday. This time, hopefully with Manu, but probably won't. But I think he deserves to run in the team for right now based off that performance. And you know what? I think someone tweeted, Amrabat's playing like his rent is due. It kind of is because, let's be real, he could easily get loaned back to Fiorentina in January 1st if he had kept performing the way he was the last couple games and stuff like that. But it looks like that was probably his best performance also fitness-wise. He played the whole 90. So he hasn't played a whole 90 for us yet, I think, unless maybe he did in the cup game against Palace. But other than that, he hasn't really played a full 90. So he was excellent in the midfield. So he was excellent today. McTominay, obviously, I can't defeat that guy. You know, sometimes you just got to hold your hands up and say, you win. Bro, this is something with McTominay. Brace today, bro. I have to accept it. He's not leaving the starting 11 for the rest of the season unless Ten Hag drops him because he wants to change up like that kind of playing style. Maybe when Leach and Casemiro come back, maybe he'll change it then. But as of right now, until those two come back, I hold my hands up. It's over. He is not coming out the starting 11. I'm fighting a losing fight, and sometimes you just got to give up, and that's what I'm going to do with McTominay. Good brace. He wasn't good otherwise, in my opinion. Defensively, he was poor. Every single time he got on the ball and he had to pass, not really good. When he got into final third positions in terms of passing instead of shooting, he didn't do really well. But well-taken goal for the first one. Nice shot. And the second, and the nice header. Obviously, I think Højlund could have gotten that second header, and I would have rather preferred Højlund scored, obviously, because I want my striker to get on the score sheet finally, but he didn't. So a good brace by McTominay. He's our leading goal scorer in the Premier League, which If you had told me that when the season started, I would have laughed in your face like I'm the Joker. But nonetheless, it has happened. And yeah, it's what it is. He's just going to be here for a long time, for at least the rest of the season. Hopefully he doesn't get sold and eventually we play actual midfield. But until then, is what it is. Big up RSV. Big up if mine was started. Our midfield wouldn't have been opened up easily at times. Our midfield did get cut through at times. I agree. I'll talk about soon. I'll talk about that next. Chelsea were unbelievably poor. Let's not get carried away since our midfield was cut open at times. Yeah, I'll talk about Chelsea a little bit too because I'm probably getting cooked on Twitter right now because I just said Chelsea looked better than us about a month ago after the Arsenal game, but is what it is. Kevin Jimenez says yes, RSV, but we struggle against crap teams too, so we did good. Yeah, I mean today you could also make the case that maybe it was more Chelsea bad than United good. I think that could also be a statement. I think that was Chelsea's worst performance of the season by far. Like it's not even close, but I also do want to give us credit because I thought we did excellent pressing wise. Defensively, I thought Dalot was solid. My only criticism with Dalot, and I will always have this criticism with Dalot, I think he's a solid player, but I think it's just that lacks him from being a top end right back, which he could be. My bad, real quick. Oh, I checked my phone. His crossing variation is so poor, and it was that pass to Dalot that he had, that pass to Garnacho that he had, where he kind of like blasted at him instead of just like either lofting it, putting it on the ground. Would have been a simpler transfer for Garnacho. Instead, he kind of just blasted it right at him, and Garnacho had to take a touch. Could he have volleyed it? Maybe. Surprised he actually didn't, knowing Garnacho, but it took Garnacho's touch backwards. And when you're a fullback and you're getting into those positions, your crossing has to be more solid than that. And I think that's what Dalot, he could improve on it because I think he does have good like ball striking ability, but it's the variation in his crossing which he lacks. What type of cross, when to do a type of cross at the right time, that's what he lacks. And I think that could be fixed for coaching, but I think that's what really separates him from maybe like being having the potential to be a top end right back as opposed to just an average right back, slightly above average. So there's that. Maguire, impeccable today. Was named player of the month this morning, and you know what? Based off today's performance, he deserved it because that was amazing performance. He read the game excellently. He stopped counterattacks when he could have. He was aggressive. He pulled up in the midfield. I even saw him pull up right wing, which I probably don't want to see again, but it's okay. It kind of was effective. In the air, impeccable as always. Don't really have to question Maguire in that aspect. And yeah, even had the shot blocked that led to Mctominay's first goal. He was really good today. He's clearly earned himself that right center back spot for now. When Leacher comes back, I don't know if Ten Hag will persist with that because that might be an overly aggressive center back duel. But as of right now, I think Maguire, there is no question why he deserves that right center back spot. And I know a lot of people are Varane fans and people want to see Varane start. But for me right now, you generally can't say that Varane deserves to start over Harry Maguire. Victor Lindelof, on the other hand, got hooked at halftime, deservedly so. I think for me, he was at fault for the first goal, for the only goal for Chelsea. He did not engage, and my biggest criticism with Victor Lindelof is always his lack of engagement towards opposition's attackers. He refuses to engage every single time. Bro, close your man down. You are a center back. That is your job as a center back, is to close down your attacker. Instead, he let Cole Palmer just run with the ball. It was a nice, really good shot by Palmer. Could Onana have saved it potentially? Was really well placed in terms of the bottom corner, but I think we'll talk about Onana. But I felt Lindelof, he shouldn't even be allowing Palmer to get a shot off there. Block it, man. You should constantly do that. And also a couple other times he was kind of getting what the other teams kept able to run right past him because he wasn't engaging well. So for me, he got deservedly hooked at halftime. And Luke Shaw went into left center back. And Luke Shaw was really solid for the game. Got a yellow card, but he really didn't have to get a yellow card. But I thought left center back he did well. Reading of the game again really well. Passing was pretty decent. Obviously some poor passes, but for the most part, I thought he was solid as usual. And with Luke Shaw, a lot of people's biggest criticism of Luke Shaw is his inability to overlap, allegedly. But for me, he was overlapping constantly today. Garnacho wasn't finding him on the overlap, and that's another criticism with Garnacho. It's just, again, the IQ. It will get better with more game experience, more coaching, more training. But he was constantly on the overlap, so I think people just are overcritical with Luke Shaw when it comes to that. I know it's been like 10 years that he's been here and we haven't really won anything, so you kind of get tired of having the same player here for 10 years. We haven't won anything major. I kind of get that, but let's not lie. Let's be real. Let's be truthful, man, please. I thought Luke Shaw was solid as usual. Onana didn't have much to do all game. He did have a couple of nice saves in the first half, which I thought he did really well. But when it comes to the floor shots, Onana dives over the ball constantly, and that for me it's okay if it happens the first time, but I see it constantly, and that's when you realize it's just goalkeeper fundamentals are poor. And for me, I think he dives way too early, maybe because he doesn't believe in his reflexes that he has to dive early, or sometimes he dives too late. It's never a right balance with him. But on the ball, I thought he was excellent in terms of distribution. Had a nice pass to Garnacho along that Reece James had to like head it, and Reece James had a poor touch, and it went right to Garnacho, which Reece James did recover really well, fair enough, but is what it is. But I thought Onana was solid for the most part. The goal, iffy, and again, I think with Onana, he's a solid goalkeeper, but you know what? I think one of my mutuals tweeted it. He's not one of those goalkeepers that really might bail you out a lot, and sometimes you want that from your goalkeeper, so it's tricky. If you're a really dominant team, then that's fine. But we're not at that stage yet, so we kind of need our goalkeeper to bail us out at times. And I don't think Onana might be that goalkeeper. So that might be my only criticism with him. I'll big up Emma. I think first time I see you in the comments. If I'm wrong, my fault. This is the best performance, absolutely the best performance by far this season. Now the real question is, now let's talk about Ten Hag. Obviously, I'm not gonna flip flop about Ten Hag. I did say after Newcastle, I really want him gone. I do think he's still a good coach, but I think it's kind of similar that this job might be too big for him. The constant decisions, but he did do a good job today. Can't lie, but again, it's that midfield. He has to fix that midfield. It worked against Chelsea, and Chelsea were that bad, but it might work against Bournemouth this weekend. But next week we have Bayern Munich in the Champions League in a must-win game. Whatever happens in Galatasaray, Copenhagen, we must win that game. Even if we don't qualify past the group, it's just good for confidence because next Sunday on, I don't know the date for that. I think it's the 16th or the 17th. Whatever day it is, 16th or 17th. We go to Anfield. We lost there 7-0 last year. The way we look right now, I'm not going to lie, we could easily hold a 7-0 again. And if you hold another 7-0 back-to-back years, I'm not even joking, dude. Like, you have to get sacked before the full-time whistle even blows. You have to get sacked. So he has to fix that midfield. Even if we have to maybe lower the lineup just a little bit, just do it because that midfield, bro, another team capitalizes today, and Chelsea should have capitalized, bro. If Nicholas Jackson, Mikhailo Mudryk had any final third intelligence, Chelsea could have scored. Bro, Chelsea only had 1 XG, but they also created like 4 or 5 big chances. So that's not sustainable for me. So that's my only issue with Ten Hag today. But like Kevin Jimenez said, he did good today. The substitutions were good. Our press was good. It looks like I said, he added the fullbacks to the press, so I can't really criticize him for that, which is always nice to see. And yeah, man, is what it is at the end of the day when it comes to that. I just hope that I'm kind of at the point where like I kind of do want him out, and I do think my biggest issue with why I'm Ten Hag out is because I believed in him when he came in. He was my number one candidate for the job. I'm not gonna lie about that. I wanted him. I even wrote articles about him. I always wanted him as my manager, but he hasn't done what he came in to do, and he hasn't stood on his principles. And I always wanted that for the manager at Man United. This job is most likely, maybe out of the Madrid, the toughest job in world football when it comes to managing is Man United. You have so much pressure. You have such a legacy. The need to bring this club to the top. Every single manager, the expectation is placed upon them. You have to be the manager that brings Man United back to the top. That was placed upon Moyes. He was meant to continue Sir Alex Ferguson's legacy. When Moyes got sacked and Louis van Gaal came in, experienced manager, you can help us kind of get back to where we were. Maybe not as dominant, but get us into that level, especially with how poor the Premier League was when Louis van Gaal came in. When Jose Mourinho came in, the chosen one, the second most, a top 3 manager of the generation, arguably, obviously him, Pep, and Sir Alex. He had that, so he was meant to be the one that really brought us back. Jose Mourinho, because he still had that aura about him, that presence, that CV. Ole was more to kind of, in the beginning, was to kind of just bring the vibes back, kind of help balance things a little bit. And now when Ten Hag, the project manager, that's what he was meant to build. He's meant to build a project that can help Man United start competing again with the Liverpool and Man City. Instead, it might come to the point where I always thought Ten Hag would probably last 5 years here. I don't think there's really managers anymore that last like 10 years at a football club. I don't think that really lasts unless you're like a top manager like a Jurgen Klopp or Pep Guardiola. So I thought if Ten Hag gives us 5 years, whether he's successful or not in terms of trophies and stuff, I wanted Ten Hag to leave us with a squad that's solid and just need another manager to maybe tweak it a little bit, the tactics and all that kind of stuff, and take us to the next level. And I also wanted him to leave behind a playing style, a philosophy that we can, when we go look for a new manager, he can come in and it's already a ready-made squad for him. Kind of how like Brighton went from Potter to the Zerbi. The Zerbi was able to seamlessly fit into Brighton because he had a squad that was fit to play his playing style because he had similar philosophy and similar principles to Potter. Obviously, he changed a couple things because he might have a little bit more advanced principles and stuff like that, advanced tactics and stuff like that. But I wanted that with Ten Hag. I wanted like the next manager that came in, like let's say 2027, he'd leave us in a better situation than when he came in. And right now, you can't 100% say that. If Ten Hag, let's say, was leave at the end of the season, has he left us in a better situation than when he came in? Because we're going to have a bunch of players that might not fit the next manager system because we don't have a balanced squad. I always wanted to have a balanced squad with profiles that meshed well together, give us variation. Instead, it's not like that. So that's probably my biggest criticism with Ten Hag. And I'm still more on the negative side of him. Could he change my mind? Absolutely. Do I think he has the ability to change my mind in terms of coaching? I do. I think he's a top coach, but he has to man up. And to be manager of Man United, I think bar having like elite philosophy and stuff like that, I think you have to have elite personality in terms of being able to, when you give your ideas, that people believe in them and that they buy into what you're selling. So kind of like the aura and stuff like that, which I think like a Jose had maybe in the beginning, or Louis Van Gaal. I thought Ten Hag would have that, but so far it hasn't really looked like that. And second of all, you can't be afraid. You have to have no fear to have this job. You should not care what the media says. Don't listen to them. You can't have fear of your players. In the last year he showed that he didn't have fear of the players. Ronaldo came out, interview. Ronaldo, the biggest name in football in history, maybe potentially. Interview. And yet all his fans, every single press was about Cristiano Ronaldo, and that never faced Ten Hag. But this season, he's rattled. And I never thought I would see a Ten Hag get rattled. I thought he would rise above that, but he hasn't. And for me, it seems like this season, the last month or so, he's been coaching scared. And you can never coach Man United scared, because if you ever get scared of coaching at Man United, that's when you lose your job. That's when it's over for you. That's when you're sinking. So that's pretty much my issue with Ten Hag. But I hope he can change it, man, because I really don't want to go through the cycle of managers. I really hope to be proven wrong. I'm a man that I love being right, obviously, at times. But when it comes to Man United, when it comes like if I'm thinking like from a negative standpoint, I hope I'm proven wrong, because the most thing I want from this club is success. So we'll see what happens with Ten Hag. Is what it is. Man, if he beats Liverpool at Anfield, I'll change my whole mind, because that's when I believe you might be the one beating at Liverpool at Anfield, because you haven't beaten them in almost a decade. So we'll see. But for today, I'm happy. 3-point hold tight at 3-point collectors, as they say. 3 points in the bag. Bournemouth on Saturday. Get a dub there, because believe it or not, ladies and gentlemen, we are only, I'm not saying we're going to finish above them, but we are only 3 points behind Manchester City. How that has happened, I have absolutely no idea. But we're somehow only 3 points behind them. This Premier League, bro, I told you guys, this is not a Super League no more. This league is horrible. The quality in this league is horrible. The fact that Man United only 3 points off allegedly the best team in the world, and we're this bad, this league is washed, man. I told you guys, this league is washed, bro. We might not be a top 5 league in the world anymore. It is so horrible. The Bundesliga is better than us, man. We fell off, but the banner said, big up. I forgot the manager's name. Is it Iraola? Something like that. Iraola. I don't know what his name is. Spanish dude from Rayo Vallecano. But he's got them balling. I think they have like one less goal scored than us this season or something like that. Big up Don Solanke. If you guys know, you know. I wanted him as striker this summer. Didn't happen. Is what it is. I got booed. Sorry for booed me, but it's okay. But big up Bournemouth. They're doing really good. And man, they know how to press. They can be a tough opposition. The fact that it's at Old Trafford, though, gives me a little bit more confidence. I'm not gonna lie. If it was away at it starts with the V, I can't lie. This is such casual for me. If we went away to their ground, it might be a little bit more peak, because the way they dominate Newcastle there. But Vicarage Road, there we go. I think that's what it is. That might be Watford. Whoops. Oh well. Yeah. If the fact that it's at home, I think I'm comfortable. What's my score prediction? 2-0. I think we'll keep a clean sheet. So we somehow keep a lot of clean sheets in the Premier League. So we'll see about that. But I think Liverpool might have a little bit more clean sheets than us. But we typically do a good job of keeping clean sheets this season when in lower opposition games, in a sense. So I think like a 2-0. It'll be a tough match, though. I think Bournemouth will create a couple chances, and if they're clinical on the day, they might give us like a draw or something like that. But I'm confident, especially if they kind of start. If they press high, they're gonna leave the gas behind us, and I think we could cause them trouble. So yeah, the man said 25 mil. Bro, if it only costs 25 mil for Solanke, bro, I'll be the first one saying bitter, but it won't cost 25 mil. That's their best player. So it'll definitely cost more than that. But if you guys don't have any more questions, I have to wrap it up because I also have to be on Judge Mo stream in about 5 minutes. So let me know your last thoughts. My last thoughts are good job by United, good performance, solid victory. Let's keep it going now. December stretch. This is the most important stretch of the year. I always believe so because this is kind of when the table starts reflecting on what kind of team you are. And if we're in the top four, if we're in and around the top four, like within like a 3, 4, 5 point distance come January 1st, and we somehow buy one more player, it could be good. If we're finished fourth in the Champions League, even better. Once a week football, I think we'll be fine there. They'll just allow Ten Hag to do more of his tactics and stuff like that. But I think we'll be good. Let's just hope. We see more of these kind of performances and not what we saw against Newcastle away from home. That's my next. My issue is Anfield. That for me will be the ultimate litmus test. How do we perform at Anfield? Do we get slapped around like that again, or do we put in a fight and a performance worthy of what Man United means? If we lose like a 1-0, 2-0, but we fought hard, I'm gonna be like, okay, man, you hold that L, Anfield away. That's tough to go, but you got to perform well. You have to fight. You just can't roll over. Then I'm like, yeah, you just hold that L. But yeah, I think we have like Villa right after that at home. Beat them. That's a serious team as well. They're gonna be in the top 4 race. They beat the living crap out of Man City. So is what it is when it comes to that. But good job by Man United today. Good job by Ten Hag. Good job by the players. More of that, and then you won't have Samuel Luckhurst write a bunch of opinion articles. I'm sure he's probably seething more than Chelsea fans today because he wasn't able to write a stupid article criticizing the players. So thank you for that. And last question by the Bandit: who do you think will win the Prem? I unfortunately think, even though it might be actually unfortunately, I do think Arsenal will win the league this year. They are the lesser of 3 evils in terms of winning the Premier League because I do not want Man City to do a 4-peat, something we have never done. And God forbid we let Liverpool win this league. Oh my God, it would be horrific, man. That's the last thing, bro. Man, Liverpool win the league, bro. We do not want that. We do not want that. God forbid. So Arsenal win the league is the lesser of 3 evils. So yeah, thanks for anyone that tuned in. I think we hit about 10 max viewers at a time. I'll check the analytics later, but I appreciate every single one of you that came in. The minute Arsenal fans are jarring, but like I said, the lesser of 3 evils, man, is what it is. Sometimes, bro, they're just a good team. You gotta hold your hands up, man. They have that mentality this year, so is what it is. But yeah, big up for everyone that joined. Like, share, subscribe. I don't know how many subscribers we're at, but goal is 300 by Christmas. I think we're around like 242, 243 right now. So goal is 300 by Christmas, which is 3 weeks away, roughly. So yeah, big up Bandit, big up Kevin, big up RSV, big up Emma, I believe was also in the comments. Yes, I was right. Big up the other Kevin, Richie. So yeah, appreciate you guys, and yeah, I'll catch you guys later. I'll also be on Staffy stream tonight too, so I have a bunch of streams to go on to. Peace.